them come. This is their fate.
All right. Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we got some stuff to talk about, but we might be just going along with the flow. We got a few things we want to touch on, a few things going on, some weird and random Pokemon lore that got leaked, some other stuff that's going on. But we got some topics, not too many, but we're going to still be here to talk, and you'll see them as we kind of get to them on the timestamps. So don't worry, you could be able to still see what we're going to be talking about. But before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going, what games you've been playing, and, overall, how you feeling. Talk to the people.
So, yeah, it's good to catch up with y'all. I ain't talked to y'all in about a week since last time we did the podcast.
Yeah.
But for me, same as usual. Busy at work. Just wrapped up a project that I was working on for like 3 months, and the game is trash, but it just came out. And yeah, I mean, I still got some like post-launch stuff to do, but I'm glad to be moving on to a different project because I'm tired of seeing that game. Otherwise, myself, I've been playing. So I only played a little bit of Metaphor. Just like I haven't bought it yet, but the demo is like 10 hours, so I figure I might as well play that. And when I actually do buy it, maybe it'll be on sale by that point. But I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I might keep going past the demo and just buy it right now. It's just, with time constraints, I don't know if I got 100 hours to drop in October on it. But I'm still liking the game so far. And like y'all said, I didn't actually catch that they had a voice protagonist in this game. Every now and then he'll say something, which is appreciated. Otherwise, not too much to say about it. I've looked at all the previews and reviews and stuff, so I see that people are pretty positive about it. But I'm interested to hear what y'all think, since it's, I guess, other than Persona, y'all haven't played any other Atlas game. Or did you play what's that game? Catherine, Jalen?
Yeah, I played a tad bit of Catherine.
Okay, so yeah.
Really
but usually y'all play the Persona games and not their other stuff. So I'm interested to hear what y'all think, how it's compared to Persona.
I didn't even know Catherine was one. I played and beat that one. I didn't know that was.
Oh yeah, that was them. Because usually, I guess not all the Personas have like a lot of anime cutscenes, but usually Atlas do like the anime cutscenes that you get a lot of, especially like in Catherine and stuff.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it, Catherine.
Yeah, not too much going on with me. I had I got a new Android device a couple weeks ago, and I'm enjoying that a lot. I've got all my games up and running, and I end up selling it to get a different color. So I had to go through the whole setup process again, because I was hoping I'd be able to, just drag and drop all my folders after it was all organized. Some stuff worked, but most stuff still got to go back through and do the setup process again, which was annoying. But anyways, it's nice to have a device that I'm happy with. It's small, and I play most of the games I want to play. And as far as PC stuff, I've just noticed that at least when I play it, I'm usually at home when I got a PC game that I'm going to play, and I might as well just stream it, so I don't need like a big old Windows device to play these PC games. But yeah, that being said, everybody's good and healthy. The little one's been going to daycare every day for the last few weeks. I'm loving it. Don't ever want to come home. She always want to be at school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've taken her every day. She's only cried like one day, and that was because she had took like a extra day or two off because she had a fever,
Oh
and so I
yeah.
guess we kind of forgot like uh where she was going when we came to drop her off. But yeah, she cried for a little bit after we left, but the teacher was like she just started playing with her friends. So I mean that's good because that's always a challenge when you a new parent got to take your kids to school.
Yeah.
But she's happy, so that's good for us. And yeah, but I'm doing great. How about y'all guys?
Just real quick,
Um.
what you was playing? The Metaphor on. Yeah, go to Android
Steam.
device. Oh, okay, so yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I was just
Okay,
streaming it. Yeah.
okay.
Gotcha.
My bad. I ain't mean to cut you off now.
No, you good. You good. It was on you anyway. I'm just going to intro you. But Jalen, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So with me, not a whole lot. This past weekend, I had went to DC sporadically. I was supposed to go to Detroit, but I had canceled. I was like, I ain't hitting that drive, bro. Drive great. I really didn't want to go. So I had already booked Airbnb. I told them, I was like, look, man, I'll pay my portion of the Airbnb still, man, but y'all just go have fun. So instead, I just went to DC because I ain't had nothing better to do. So did that. That was smooth. I just went and visited
I think your
friends. So,
headphones just cut off.
oh shoot, hold on. All right, my bad. Yeah, no, I just went to so I just went to DC for a little bit. Other than that, I just been chilling. My mom, she had visited real briefly, so we was able to hang out a little bit for like a day. Me and my family, so that was a good time. It's always good to see family, right? Appreciate them while they're here. Um, but other than that, that's really about it. Other part of my weekend consisted of chilling and playing Metaphor. So, like Josh, I was playing it 100 hours. Sound kind of crazy. I'm gonna see what I can do, but I got it on my Steam Deck, so that's what I've been playing it on. So I've been to make it a little bit easier to play. But that's about it, though.
For sure. For sure. Um. That's good. I ain't really been doing much. Well, I have been doing a lot. I just always downplay what I be doing. I've been finishing up my basement, so I finally got the trim in for the flooring, and waiting on my carpet still. I built my sofa. I brung down my TV. I set up my system, and I have brung down my PC and my set up my vinyl record player. Like I said, I've been just doing stuff in my room. So at this point, it's pretty much fleshed out how I want it set up. Outside of bringing my other main um, desk down, because I have two desks now, so I'm about to make a mega desk. Um, so that way, one is set up for my work, and other is set up for my gaming. So, but yeah, I'm trying to determine whether or not I should downsize a lot. Like I have three three monitors for my PC setup, and then I have two monitors for my work setup, and I'm just like, that's a lot of monitors. So I might just end up, because I have a 42-inch um, OLED that I use as my main PC screen, and then I have a 32 and a 24 as my secondaries. I might just end up just using the LG OLED as my main gaming PC monitor and not have the secondary, because I feel like I can get all my stuff done with that one big screen. I just don't want to most of the time. I just feel like it's more easier for me to have multiple screens full screened up, and it's not really necessary. Like the screen is big enough for me to be able to do anything and everything I needed to do without having to have multiple screens. So I'm gonna try to make it really clean. And of course, this whole basement transformation, I will be having a dedicated video for anybody that actually follows me to watch. So if you want to see my transformation and all that good jazz and everything I did, because it was a freaking lot. I started this in September, like 15th, and it probably will be done. It should have been done sooner, but unfortunately the carpet was special order, so it takes forever. So that'll come in on the 29th, and at that point it should be at least finalized to the point where you'll see a video in November, mid-November. After editing and putting everything together, you'll see a video mid-November. But yeah, I've been finishing up the finishing touches and all that good jazz. I was able to take a little time and just chill, and that's where you saw me pop on Multiverses, and I've been playing Evil West. And then took the kids for the holiday because we got like, you know, those weird holidays that most only certain people get. Columbus Day, or was it Indigenous People Day now. We took the kids and they went to a park, and a pretty new park, and it was pretty nice. It had a bunch of amenities, a lot of things that they could do. One of my children was very courageous, jumping down this big slide and pushing bigger kids out the way because they were scared to go down. And this guy was just amazing. I'm talking to Amir because Amir used to be a scary cat and Aiden wasn't. And now it's Amir's got all the courage and Aiden just does not do that stuff anymore. So I don't. It's funny how it flip flops, but they have fun. But you know, I think once I'm done with this project, I'm gonna have a lot more time to really, truly, actually enjoy my space versus what I'm doing now is just working on that, working my regular job and taking, you know, trying to spend time with the family. I just ain't really got no time in between. And the little time I do got is like an hour. It's not really enough. So, but yeah, I've been working, I've been busy, but I've been enjoying it. And y'all will be able to see it soon enough. But what have I been playing? What have I been playing? Evil West. I play a little bit of Metaphor. Evil West is interesting because I'm only playing it because my Xbox is the only system I have, and I was just playing stuff on it. And I was like, man, let me just play Evil West. The reason why is because it's on Game Pass, of course. And I wanted to play it on my PC, and I just don't have. There's something still in me that it's just easier to sit on a couch and play a game when the setup is optimal. Like, this isn't the optimal setup if I'm with my kids and I'm doing something, but it is optimal when I'm by myself in like my area and I'm just chilling. So for that reason alone, I've been playing. I put like 3 hours into Evil West, and it's not a bad game at all. But I'm pretty sure I could have been playing something a little bit more interesting, but I have such a backlog of games that I wanted to try that it's easier to just focus my brain on something that I can probably get through quickly in 20 hours versus trying to jump into a game like Metaphor today. So, but yeah, I've been at least having some form of gaming, and I guess we can talk about some of that other stuff as we continue on, but especially Metaphor. So I got some things to say about it at least. But okay. Anything else before we move into our first topic?
No. Let's get to it.
All right. Well, I guess the first thing we should just talk about, since we've been mentioning it a few times, is Metaphor. Is there anything negative? Because I ain't really got that many. Before we get into all the positive about the game.
I ain't really got. It's not objectively negative or anything. It's not even much of a negative. I had talked to you a little bit on the phone. I think it was Friday I called you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I have a small scope of what Atlas does. I played a little bit of Catherine. I feel like I played a little bit of another game or looked into another game before. I'm not entirely sure. And I played Persona. So basically my premise is Persona. Like this is what I understand about Atlas. Josh, you probably played more Atlas games, got a better scope. I'm like, so first things first, music. I'm thinking music finna, you know what I'm saying? They finna go crazy with the jams. I'm not saying metaphor music is bad. It's just not what I thought it would be, I guess. But at the same time, it is a different time period. It's more medieval-esque. So I can't put those same expectations on there. The other thing is, I understand it's supposed to be similar to Persona, or what you say last week, Josh, like supposed to branch off from Persona and kind of be its own little type of game, similar how Shin Megami Tensei is to Persona. Um, I'm thinking like, all right, so y'all can keep some of the same aspects, but I want to see some a little bit more varying, I guess, if you will. So, like to say, the spoiler alert, when the game start off or whatever, you get your little archetype. It felt real similar
Yeah.
to like, they had this emotional response and then they did something crazy. I hate when they do something crazy like they, shoot themselves or pull their head off or that, if they just do something crazy, be blood everywhere. I was like, bro, what is going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? But they activate it the same way. So sometimes it just be like, all right, I mean, I seen this in Persona like 4, I mean, I seen it in 5, I seen it in 3. Now I'm finna see it in this game. And it just kind of, it's cool for what it is. It ain't necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of like, all right, I know how this gonna pan out. For example, like I'm gonna compare it to Pokemon. Generally, you start off Pokemon, you know you're gonna get your first Pokemon. Um, Sometimes they have you go into the wild, you go get a new Pokemon. Sometimes you just go straight up to the dude, be like, all right, here, get your first Pokemon. Sometimes they be like, hey, you ain't getting a first Pokemon because like I gotta do this and a third, so you just gotta wait. I ain't here yet. And so it would be like different things, and you know how it's supposed, what's gonna pan out, but the way they go about doing it is different versus like with these games, it's like some sort of super big emotional response, and then you're like, all right, here go your persona now. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's similarities there that could, have you that feeling of familiarity, but I think that's just more sort of I contribute that to the From Software touch. Like, yeah, Sekiro has some similarities to um Bloodborne, and Bloodborne has similarities to Dark Souls, but there's a different experience in each that I wouldn't want to negate them from being able to explore, but also using their tried and true um experience to kind of build up off of. So that's what I kind of attribute it to. I don't really hold it against them, and I don't think you're doing it either. But that's
Yeah, they
just one
have
of those
their
things.
tools that they do for the different games. Like you said, Persona, something happened and the persona jump out to save you. And the Shin Megami Tensei games, you usually just die, and then like you got to make a pact with like a spirit to like come back or save your friends or something like that. So yeah, they always have their setup that they do. But I mean, I think that part is usually minor, and it's just a
In
setup
a
for the
grand
beginnings
scheme.
of
yeah,
it.
it's minor. I
Yeah,
just was I'm looking for things to be separate from Persona, and I'm like, all right, y'all got the spell names, they different. But then it like the attack power up one, that's the same name. I'm like, all right, and then it's just like using the Persona, it's just stuff like that. So I'm like, all right,
hmm
Yeah.
try not to. I don't want it to feel like I'm playing Persona too much. Like it's cool, but but the speaking protagonist, I'm like, all right, man, speak your talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need that, bro.
Yeah. There's some there's definitely room for improvement, I suppose. But overall, I can say that there's not much here that I'm seeing that's deterring me from the experience. I just know that
yeah.
there's
Did
other
you?
ones that may be cheaper. Like right now, I seen Unicorn Overlord for $25. I was like, I know I wanted to play that for a while, and I can easily cop that for cheaper and have an experience that's probably comparable or even, it may be even better. It doesn't know. I don't know. but it has some type of, that RPG element, but it also has a good story behind it, probably, that I would probably still have fun with. And it's another Atlas game, so it's not like I'm striving too far off the wagon for it. But this one's, they want that $70 up front, so it's kind of like, do I even have the time, and do I feel like I'm going to have the enjoyment I could right now from it? And I don't want to do the price comparison, but it is important too to know that there's other games out there that I haven't played that could have my time that I own today versus, playing Metaphor. That doesn't take away anything from the game. It is my own thought process. So.
Yeah. Did you have any what did you think about Jalen's negatives? Did you have any thoughts on the music or anything like that?
Definitely the music. I haven't liked it right now. I don't find it that great. Um, I don't hold it against them because honestly, I'm not the type of person that really pays all that much attention to music. And that's just me, honestly. There's not like a time where I felt like, oh, this game sucked because the music sucked. And if it was only because someone else brought it up to me, like Jalen when he was talking about Mementos. Like I had no mind. I didn't mind it because it's background noise to me. I zone it out. But when he kept saying it, and then I hear it, I'm like, okay, now it sucks to me. So it only becomes like super bad when someone else acknowledges like it to me. I'm like, I just don't. I don't know. I ain't really listening for it. But immediately, that like this one was different. Immediately when I heard it, I said, "Oh no, this ain't gonna be it. This is the one they're gonna be using the whole time. Oh, this ain't it." So I did, cause I know that how Persona is set up. Sometimes they usually use a sound for a certain particular either area, or it's just gonna be the main music every time you go into battle. And if that's the main music every time you go into battle, I ain't gonna like it. But it ain't gonna stop me from playing it. I'll say that.
Hmm. Okay. No, it's interesting because I think that I mean, people always praise Atlas music, and I think this game is still getting praise for its music, but it's always different. Like Persona 5 was jazz, and so like obviously it sounds very good, like well done jazz, but jazz has its own style, so it's doing that well. If how to say it, jazz is easy to vibe to, and it
Yeah.
was done well, so it was easily like universally praised. All their other games have different style of music, like Persona 4 is pop music, and if you like pop music, I think it sounds good, but if you don't like pop music, it's annoying. The same thing with Persona 3, it was more like rap inspired stuff, and it's not good rap, but it's still catchy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing, is that they're always going to do their own style in a different genre. So none of their games are ever going to sound like Persona 5. Like
Mm-hmm.
going forward, even Persona 6 is not going to sound like it. They're going to pick a different genre. It's going to be rock, or it's going to be something else, and then they're going to do their own style on it. So that, I think that expectation that it's going to sound like Persona 5 is always going to set you up for disappointment. But it's always catchy, and it, like you say, if you listen to it in the background, you might find a couple tracks that you like or don't mind. But I think overall the music sounds good. Like I don't have a problem with. I don't hate any of the songs. I, and I'll probably end up finding songs that I like about in there as well. But yeah, that just saying that always expect really really different music from them.
Yeah.
And since this is like a fantasy setting, it's gonna be like, yeah, orchestra music or something like that, but like a different spin on it.
Yep. That's fine. Like I said, it's not going to deter me from it. I can tell you right now, it's not like uh the best sounding to me in regards to how, I don't know, something about it just sounds offbeat, but maybe it's just me. Um, and I don't know if there is a beat that I should be listening for, but something about it just seems wrong. And it's
So I no, I'm not so I wanted to validate your statements that I don't actually know if this beat sounds weird in
Hmm.
the song because I haven't listened to a whole bunch of songs. But in the past, for some of their Shin Megami Tensei games, they do some or weird stuff to make the music fit the setting. So like in
Uh,
that game, it was also orchestra music, and sorry, it was a game called Strange Journey. It was also orchestra music, but orchestra and opera, you got like a lady singing and stuff like that.
hmm.
But then in that game, it just got like random drums and humming to make it sound like somebody's like chanting like a weird like spell or
Oh,
something on top of the singing. And so it's meant to make it feel weird, like I'm supposed to be in this fantasy setting, but I also feel like somebody is trying to cast a spell on me or like a voodoo spell on me or something. So anyways, they do different stuff to maybe make the
to
music fit
produce
the
that
setting.
fact. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it's more trying to fit the setting or the vibe and not let it less necessary. This is a song that you listen to relax to or something.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, there's more praise than cons for me. More pros. I really do like the ability to see into the future of what you're going to be unlocking, what you're going to be able to what you'll be able to. It's unlocking. It's your bonds, how to level them up, what you get for doing so. I think they kind of just streamlined a lot of that. I like the fact that you can kill enemies without and grind without having to go into battles all the time if you go to a lesser area. There's a lot of things that I've seen and just from watching videos that seem like this more streamlined approach. So I feel like it's gonna have just 80 hours of fun and enjoyment, not like trying to grind stuff and things like that too. So um, outside of mechanics, um, is there anything that you guys that stood out to you? Well, I guess everything included. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to minimize what y'all could talk about. Anything in there that y'all saw that was like, okay, this is pretty cool too, or anything that you um, thought was a good idea? Because I think there's a few that I've seen that was like pretty good ideas, but um, I think I mentioned them.
Um, I I'm most interested in seeing how they do the different classes or what do they call them aspects, because you can switch them around.
Archetypes. Oh, you talking about
Archetypes,
archetypes? Yeah.
yeah, archetypes. So you can switch them around and experiment with um, different types, mixed skills and stuff like that. But they have many different ones. I don't know their names, but like a mage, you do your magic, and you switch to a different one, like a knight. But then they also have some inspired by like their other games, like there's I don't know if it's called a fiend or a demi fiend or something like that. That one's inspired by one of the Shimigami Tensei games, and so you have abilities that are like from that game. There's another one that's inspired by like a Persona character, so you would summon like a Persona to do an attack or something. Um, anyways, I'm interested to seeing all of the different classes because all your characters in your party used to be tied to like their own, like the main character. Like if you have uh, what are their names? Queen in Persona 5, then her persona is always set to her, and so she can't switch. But being able to switch the party around to have different abilities is going to make it more interesting. Where I like this character, but I don't like their playstyle, so let me just change it up to something I do like. So I guess the class flexibility is what I'm liking.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. What about you, Jalen? Anything?
Yeah, so I'm curious about. Wait, what was the question again? I
Just
got it.
anything that you thought was cool, unique, or
Oh, okay.
special. I know you already kind of mentioned a little bit of that, but anything that you thought stood out.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Again, I want like a different experience. I mean, I'm playing like an RPG. So I don't want some of the same things because sometimes I feel like the biggest gripe I have with Atlas, I'm not saying that they're a bad company. I feel like they reuse a lot of the same things and themes. So it it limits how diverse it can be, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, it's coming from somebody that play Pokemon. I play Pokemon. I'm like, well, you see new Pokemon, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seeing the same one. So with
Yeah.
that being said, I think that the archetype thing is cool. And I'm curious to see, how they evolve and how many will be in a game and just how much variation they have. Because when I play Persona, I already know about the same personas I'm going to see. Obviously, they add a couple more in and things like that, but this is a whole new scape, and it limits their ability to give me the same exact like personas, like those sorts of things. So I'm kind of interested in that, and I thought that was kind of cool, and I was excited to see like all the little slots and then the different archetypes and people. It don't seem like you're pigeonholed to using one archetype. You can kind of like switch them up with the side characters, so all the pressure isn't always on the main character to be able to switch those up. So it gives a little bit more diversity when battle, I think, at least. Again, I'm only a couple hours in, so I don't have like as much say so or seen all those aspects of it. But again, from the basis, there seemed to be some form of distinction, even if it is just like, because I mean, at the end of the day, you still got the same stats, right?
Yep.
So obviously, some of those archetypes could fit the same, role or archetype. I'm using that word again, archetype that a certain persona was. But it gives a different feel. It makes it seem better, and it's not just like a shadow that they summon and they actually like transform into this thing, which make it even cooler. So I'm just kind of curious how that would like grow and pan out. So I'm interested in that. That's a good thing. I actually was happy about seeing that.
Hmm. I guess real quick, how do y'all feel about the few main characters that you've met as far as their design? Because it's different than what you get in Persona.
Nobody's annoying. Um, there is the the tropey trope guy. That's just courage and bravery and strength. So we always get that guy first. But I haven't seen too many variation in like the characters yet because I just haven't played it enough. But
Hmm.
I like the. Is she a pixie? I don't know if she's a pixie or not. Um,
I think
uh,
they said fairy.
yeah, I think the
Yeah,
fairy. I
fair.
like the fairy. Um I like the older gentleman, a little bit more stern. Uh, Probably gonna be our educator on a lot of pieces. Uh, and then we got the people that we're meeting. Like that's the overseer of the world, basically. Igor, I would call him, false Igor. I forget his name. Um,
More.
yeah, Moore. Yeah, I think that's his name. It's not a real name. It's Moore. It's a word. But he seems pretty interesting too. So I'm interested in that the whole setup of Persona or for Metaphor because I like how they do personas. So I'm already like intrigued by a lot of that stuff, and then just understanding their world better and what type of races are out there and what that means to be at a certain races. So um, I would say I know you just asked about the characters, but I feel like there's a combination of the characters plus the world that's helping make these characters more interesting
Hmm.
because the world is telling me that they are supposed to be looked at or depicted in this way, and you're getting a stark difference of what that is with the characters you're seeing. So that helps.
Yeah, I know. At least say I don't hate the fairy character. Usually, I hate those type of characters. So that's I don't know why I don't hate her yet. So let's go on their part.
You
Yeah.
say, yeah, I'm screaming. I thought she don't seem annoying. Like
No,
I
she
don't know.
seemed more.
She cool.
I think the writing. I think how they writing her because she doesn't seem like she's determined yet to just be docile to what the player wants, and like this, how they do the guides, because she's a guide. She's literally the guide character, but it's like when you have a non-speaking protagonist, it's kind of like they have to write her more to talk when you don't need her to talk. Where we got a speaking character now, so she doesn't need to talk when we're talking. So I feel like she has the ability to be written differently. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too.
So she doesn't just feel like dedicated to you constantly, and she it just feel like she's detached from just being your super guy. I mean, she does have that still in it, but it's a little bit different. I think that's simply due to him being able to talk. So, but yeah, Metaphor looks good. I do want to piggyback this conversation with just my overall thoughts right now, and hopefully y'all will be interested in this type of conversation. But basically, I want to talk to why even now Metaphor has been proven to be a great game. Why why am I still hesitant to purchase? I don't know. I feel like it's a combination of three things: time, price, and well, I guess it's just really time and price, but I want to throw in that third is the worth to me, because I still don't feel like it's worth $70. And maybe it's just me. I can understand there's a point of me where I'm saying time wise, like I ain't got time. I can't play that game anyway if I wanted to. But slowly but surely, I feel like no game is worth $70, and I just don't want to buy at that price point. Now we're near close to it, and I understand there's ways for me to get it for cheaper, but it just doesn't feel like I can justify this price point right now. And I'm just trying to see, how do y'all feel about the prices of games, even if they're 10 out of 10s? Like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm now looking at it from a different perspective. Like, if I was a developer, I would think my product is worth this amount. But now that I'm thinking about it, like just economically, I just feel like this is a poor entry point for gaming in general. And I really don't know how to combat it to make my mind feel like it's justified. Like hype, FOMO is really the only driver, and that should be that's not sufficient enough to want to entice me to buy a game now, because I have the price point is substantially combating FOMO, in my opinion. Like, I used to be one that was like, oh, I gotta play it day one. I don't want nobody else to spoil it for me. Now it's becoming I don't really care. I can wait on it, and time is of essence. And right now, I don't have the time to play it. But even if I did have the time, which I could probably try to make it, I don't want to, because I don't think it's worth it. So, I guess, where are y'all now with y'all gaming journey? And what do you feel is the biggest factor when it comes to that choice, for purchase versus wait versus don't care, that's changing y'all tunes when it comes to video games at this point in time?
So I got, I guess, questions first, because I guess I don't have a strong feeling on it, or as strong, because
Mm-hmm.
when I see a game that I want, like let's say it's Metaphor, and I look at the price of it, the prices in Japan are different, so it's like $100 here, but if I like the game and I really want to play it, like you said, FOMO or whatever, so people don't spoil it, then I'll buy it day one and I'll play it. If I only reason I wouldn't buy it is because I literally look at my schedule and for the next 3-4 weeks, I'm gonna have like 2 hours on the weekend to maybe play it. So, and I know the game is 100 hours, so I might as well just save that money. Like, I'm not gonna spend it on anything else, but just leave that money in my bank account and just buy it when I actually have time to sit down and enjoy the game.
Right.
That would be my only holdup. And as far as after I bought the game, if I liked it, I don't ever think of the price of it again. And that's partly because I buy most of my games digital, so it's not like I can resell it anyways. But when I buy a physical game and I really like the game, I don't usually jump to thinking about, oh, what can I sell this for? What is it worth now on the resale market? Because I enjoyed the game and it's just in my collection now. So that's my view on it. And so I wanted to ask, like, if there's a game that you played and you really liked it, like let's say it's a Resident Evil 4 or something and you bought it on PlayStation, do you feel like you immediately are like regretting the price tag if it was your game of the year?
No. I'm more so speaking to the trying aspect of Josh versus the guaranteed purchase. Like, there's always a
Hmm.
guaranteed purchase for me. God of War, Grand Theft Auto, those are guaranteed purchases. I'm talking about the ability to try games that you may or may not enjoy, that you probably could find an experience similar elsewhere for cheaper. That's when I start to question the worth of a game. I don't really question it when I know that that experience is been been crafted for me and I know the product. I don't really question it. I know the product of Metaphor, but it becomes uh, a question of my thought of worth of that product versus, yeah, I enjoyed their previous work. Yeah, I thought that was fun, but do I want to pay this price tag for it, and do I have the time to put into it? Because yes, I enjoyed it. I didn't thoroughly enjoy it. I didn't put the I don't have a like Persona 3 would not be my game of the year, but it's definitely a game that I really enjoyed playing. I wouldn't play it again, but I enjoyed playing it. I played it technically for the Game Pass subscription price, so I felt comfortable with the purchase. Right now, I am jumping into a brand new game that has intrigued me and has provided at least some value add that makes sense. But um, if it falls into the realm of more of the same, I could see myself being like, oh well, yeah, it was cool, but I probably shouldn't have paid 70 for it. Even though there's a lot going on now that shows me that that might not be the case. So uh, I guess I'm speaking to the to the questionable, not the guaranteed.
Hmm.
If I have, and to be fair, that list is growing ever smaller. It's not that many games that can say that are companies that will like Respawn is a company, even though I hate them to their guts. If they put out another game, I'm still gonna buy it because I know what type of product they choose to make, and it's most of the time quality. But they might have some weird, stuff on the back end. So unless it's single player, CD Project Red, I don't care. They fumbled the bag a lot, but I know what type of product they're willing to make and the value that brings. Then there's uh, Santa Monica. Probably I don't have anyone for Halo. I mean, anyone for Xbox right now. Probably would be Fable, but it's not. It's literally that list is growing smaller. And I don't know if it's contributing to just me changing my dynamic with gaming, or if it's generally just this oversaturated, overpriced market. And I'm just trying to get y'all thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'll let Jalen go real quick, but I was just gonna quickly say I understand not like you say you're trying a new game. You don't know if it's worth paying full price for this new experience that you don't know that much about. And part of that is just marketing. They gotta sell you to let you know what's in the game and the price that they're asking.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like this game, and just I feel like there are enough game studios that have been around for a long time that have a reputation or a pedigree that kind of, for me, I guess, helps alleviate some of that. And it's not always true. Anybody can put out a dud, especially like a big name,
Capcom Exo
people
Primal.
love. Yeah. Like Capcoms and stuff like that. But like if I'm following the game and it seems decent or good from the previews, and the developer has a reputation that I trust, then I'm okay with buying in if I'm interested in the game. Versus, I'm not interested in this game. I'm not interested in Fatal what is it called? Final Fight. No, not Final Fight. What's that fighting game that's coming out?
Fighting game? Sparking Zero?
City of the Wolves or something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
It's by SNK, and they do King of Fighters and stuff like that.
Oh,
I'm
I know.
not that interested in
Gotcha.
this game, but I trust the developer. I might wait for a sale in that situation. I'm not that interested, but I trust the developer, or vice versa. I'm interested in the game, but I don't trust the developer. Then that's like wait for a sale. But for Atlas, for me, I feel like it's kind of proven that they always make good games. They have a reputation. The game not gonna be garbage. And I've liked a lot of their past stuff, and I'm interested in this one, so I'm happy to buy into it. And maybe that happens to be a disappointment, and then that's just unfortunately unavoidable because you could have never known that unless you just watching all the reviews and watching all the play footage, and then you find something that you don't like. But yeah, I don't see. I know that there are other JRPGs, but there's no alternative to Persona. Like nobody's putting out RPGs that are as good as Persona. So even if Persona 3 is okay to you, then that means what the next Tales game is like a 4 out of 10. Because their games are just usually way better than most JRPGs. So yeah,
Okay.
it really just depends for me, I guess, but that's how I look at it. What about you, Jalen?
I mean, I think a lot of my thoughts, my sentiments is similar to yours. I don't, but I'm probably a little bit, my threshold probably just a little bit higher. I'm not, y'all know I'll be trying games or just buying games and stuff like that. So as far as like getting a game for like full price, won't be doing that, especially if I don't really see it, but I have the time to play it. But my willingness to try the games is going to largely be based on like the reviews. So like the day ones, the missing out, the FOMO, all that type of stuff. I don't really have that idea. I'm not gonna lie, Sparking Zero was kind of like, man, I could, you know what I'm saying? It's Bandai Namco, but I mean, I don't really. But I'm thinking that, like Josh said, the developer who made it, and I'm looking at like they reviews. If they reviews decent, then I give. If it's like a 7 out of 10, 7 or above, I look at the game and be like, well, I'm thinking about getting a game, but I don't got nothing to push me over the fence. Let me go ahead and look a little bit more into it and be like, hey, well, this looks fun. I enjoy this aspect of it. Maybe I will go pay quote unquote full price, right? So, but I just feel like it's always a hard sell for me. I don't really have like a strong bond or pact or anything with any of the companies for it to be like, hey, this is the day one buy. Even Metaphor, I still didn't buy the game. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and play the demo and see if it go on sale and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like there's a lot of great games coming out that I'm not buying, and I feel like there's a difference in how I used to act versus now. And I don't know if it's just me, but um, like Lies of P was another game that I wanted to play day one, and I just didn't purchase it. One, due to time, two, due to not it being a newer IP, and then Lords of the Fallen was another one where definitely had a lot of my interest, had all done all the right things. I still didn't buy it. And all these games are great because they're on Game Pass now, but it just feels like um, the backlog that I was building up has become more significant than the games that I'm actually interested in playing today and purchasing today. So, like, I just feel like there's a lot less of wiggle room in regards to what I contribute a valuable game. Like, I was playing like, y'all remember when I bought Riders Republic from Ubisoft for full price? Like, I used to do that all the time. If I saw a game I thought would be cool, I would buy it and see. And if it wasn't, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I tried. I just feel like I don't know what's shifting. Um, and maybe it's subscription services. Maybe it's just me not devaluing the gaming in general. But there is like where I'm not pulling the trigger on certain things that I used to do normally, and I thought,
Y'all
I
hear
give it a shot.
that? Josh, you hear that? His impulse is leaving
It's,
it. It's Deontay. I know he got calling, man.
I told you,
I mean,
my impulses
so
are weakening for sure.
yeah, I think that is fair. For me, I would say maybe it's two things because I used to buy more games as well, but game prices are rising, plus DLC, plus subscriptions to like Game Pass and stuff like that. So the dollar is stretched thin, for one, and then two, I think yeah, in general, especially for Western companies, the trust is down. Like they put out less games per year. The games that they put out are usually more expensive,
Mm.
and they're full of microtransactions. And maybe it comes out in a weird or broken state. And so, like, yeah, especially with Ubisoft, you know, PS3, even PS4 generation, I used to buy 3, 4 games from them per year. Now it's like barely even one. And I think that's just because Ubisoft in 2024 is different than Ubisoft in 2014. Um, they're just a different company. The stuff that they put out is different. Their pricing structure is different. So I treat them differently. But I would still say I still buy the same number of games that I used to buy 10 years ago. It's not necessarily all AAA companies. That smaller games I feel like have gotten uh better. Maybe if I buy something like a Hades, then it's like, yeah, I can spend 100 hours playing this game. I really like the developer. It's a worthwhile product, and it's like $25. So I think that's where my mindset has gone. I personally don't feel bad that I don't buy EA and Ubisoft games that often. It's just maybe AAA games are not worth it. or most AAA games that they're trying to compete with each other. So I think they're just eating each other's lunch, and that just makes it. I'm only gonna buy one of y'all this year or this quarter, and unfortunately, it's not a Ubisoft or EA game. You know.
Yeah, I think that is kind of like I understand that. Like I lost a lot of trust in Ubisoft over the years. But I guess I was just using that as an example. But yeah, AAA definitely is on a decline. Especially when it comes to these bigger companies where I trust them. Like I don't trust them enough to feel like they're going to do the right thing. Um, and it's coming down to like studios versus the actual company. Um, and even then, it's like it's tough because it kind of, like I said, respawn. That's a guarantee for me, but it's like trusting them to create a game worth playing is like, I don't know now, kind of skeptical. When that before it was a no brainer. Um, so I guess that is a level of trust that you fail to contribute to. But I just feel like there's so many games out right now that I'm not even like that I feel the same way I felt about Riders Republic that I'm not even thinking about. And I don't know if it's oversaturation, devaluing just because of the subscription services or what. But I think my mindset has shifted to just think more what is worth the attempt. And I think that they can combat that a lot with demos. Like I don't even think I would even pass Stellar Blade on my radar at all if they didn't have the demo option. And it may be something I pick up later down the line. And that was one of those games where I was like, okay, this fits the bills of what I want to play, and still didn't attempt to play it yet. So it's just a lot of those situations that are coming up to me that makes me feel like there's something changed, but I don't know what it is. So, but I think you're right in regards to the devaluing AAA games and like how we feel like they're copy and paste, where I feel bugs and just devaluing them to this point, to the point where I don't feel comfortable spending that much money. Same thing with even though Metaphor is great, there is some technological issues where it's not running the best and it's had this weird anti-aliasing, and it's like PS3 graphics, but it's kind of, I don't care about that port of the game, to be honest. To be like, oh, this is why I don't want to buy it. It's not that. It's literally just, you know, um, maybe I'm just not finding. I am being too critical of video games to the point where only the top notch will get my dollar. And I don't know if it's a shift in just my mindset there or if it's a shift in a lot of different things that just coming to a head. So I don't know. Thought it would be cool to talk through. But I think a lot of
Hey,
people think this way. So
video games. I told you it's funny that you said that. I was talking to my brother this past weekend, and it's like, man, y'all used to be game heads, woo, woo, woo. You and your little game heads. I was like, man, the value of video games started shifting when I bought my own game, bro. When I started buying my own games, like in seventh, eighth grade, that value started changing. I'm like, man, this game ain't even that fun, man. I got ganked, bro. Like, I should be having more than $30 of fun. I got ganked. They got me. So I started being a little bit more conscious about, my spending. I do want to ask y'all, this is probably hard to quantify, but do y'all think y'all spend more time on your games per day, per hour, per year, per week, or whatever? Spend more hours on the game now or before, if that makes sense. I don't have like a time
definitely
reference of like,
definitely
I know.
before, because simply we don't play a Destiny level game anymore. It's like definitely before. If you're talking before 2011, definitely I had more game time. Uh, so there's that. I guess I break it up in blocks from high school graduation up into college graduation, and then from college graduation till now. So between when I was in college and high school, that was probably my peak time of playing video games heavily. After college, it started to be lessened. But obviously, you kind of, as you grow, you just kind of get different things that kind of come into play that you have to shift your mindset anyway. So obviously, big factors are kids, marriage, wives, stuff like that. So that stuff did shift my focus. So regardless of who you are, I'm almost certain that every man or woman has changed, has lowered their intake of video games after, unless you're just some weirdo that don't really do nothing else. But after life changing events, you kind of have to adjust. So I don't think anybody could say, "Oh, I started playing more." Like, nah, that don't sound right. You 30 and you play more video games? How that make sense? No, that don't make sense.
That's me.
You don't play more video games now.
Yeah, I do.
How?
I cut the game on. I play the game.
Oh my goodness, this guy. You don't play Destiny no more. What are you talking about?
I be on multiverses. I got
You
200 hours logged on that game.
200 hours on multiverses?
Not just playing. I don't know how many I got on this.
This man be capping, dude.
Nah, I want to play more. I just always echo in my head to be like, you're like, man, I think you gonna just stop playing video games altogether at your rate.
You might. It's fine. I'm not saying that you can have different like outcomes of it, but I think it's so ingrained in my reality, my makeup, my how I was raised that I can never just not play a game. And maybe to the point where it's like super minimized or like, but this is gonna be something I pass on to the kids and you know having them being able to share games with them. That's when it becomes fun again. You start playing different games and you can like recreate re-experience some of the older stuff that you probably already played with in a different way. So definitely not gonna ever change for me, for sure.
Yeah, I could say the same thing. I don't think I ever not have a video game console at this rate.
Nah. Okay. Well, another topic.
Yeah, no,
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think that y'all hit the point. It's just getting older is just literally impossible to play games as much because when you're in college, you don't have a full-time job, and even classes, you can skip classes, or your classes don't take up the whole every day of your week. You know, most people I know try to fit everything on 2 days of the week so they can just do classes. And so what that leaves like 4 or 5 days of like a lot of free time. So of course, yeah, I spent most of the time playing Destiny. But now I got a kid, I'm married, and I got a full-time job. And so I got 3 debuffs. So I can't play video games
Back on a debuff.
As much. I feel like what's the fat man in Halo, Jalen in Halo 3? You walking slow, trying to trying to catch everybody.
The Juggernaut or Fat Man.
Yeah, the Juggernaut. Yeah, I got 3 debuffs, so I can't play games as much. But I still feel like, yeah, games are my hobby, and I don't spend a lot of time doing other stuff like reading books or golfing or things like that. Like it's fine to replace video games with like other hobbies. You know, like you get older, you get different interests. But me, I don't have a lot of other hobbies. Like I don't really watch TV or watch anime. So I still play games. I'll say a lot. Like most of my free time is video games. It's just I don't have a lot of free time. That's why I guess I play more. I'm more interested in free to play games now because they kind of are like pick up for 5 minutes here and there, and I'm on my lunch break and I can boot it up, do something, and then turn it off. Versus Metaphor, even if I have like literally 5 minutes, I never would boot up Metaphor for 5 minutes, do one battle, and then turn it off. Like it feels like more of a hassle than what it's worth. So I would rather play that game when I have out like at least 2 hours to sit down for myself. And I guess that's the rarity nowadays where I don't have 2 hours straight to just sit down and play.
Yeah, I think that is where a lot of these, extra systems that we buy come in handy, where you can like sit around and like this Steam Deck has been sitting on Metaphor for the last 3 days, and I just keep it charged because as soon as I pop it up, I know exactly where I'm at, and it's not going to stop me from being able to continue forward later. So that is why you have certain type of dedicated devices for certain things, because those longer form games that you just don't have time to sit down in front of is probably those ones you don't want to get interrupted. It's a lot of dialogue. You can't really sit there and try to have another conversation while they trying to have a conversation. It's taking you out the game. But Evil West, somebody stop. If I pause in the middle of that, it's not like the plot is so heavy, or if it's not like, those certain types of games where it just doesn't matter. So, 100%. And that's probably a bigger contributor to my change in purchase, because I still allocate myself like $54 a month for a game. I just don't use it. It's not like I don't have the money, I just don't want to buy them. And that's weird because it never used to be like that. Where I'd be like, oh, no thanks. And I just sit there and I'd be like, well, I could have bought it. It's not like it's a problem. 12 games a year. It's not like, obviously 54 is not 70 and how much they cost, but I have plenty of ways to get it to cheaper. To get it cheaper, but
we know methods.
We know methods, but I just don't choose to. Street Fighter, I bought Tekken. There's games that I know that are just guaranteed buys, and then there's the ones that you can, gamble on. I just choose not to. And I don't know if it's like, I think it's a combination of everything we just spoke about. It's the fact that we don't like, our time is valuable. We have less of it. The games that we are purchasing has been devalued simply due to the fact that the gaming industry today and how they try to price gouge you, and they don't really give you a beneficial game. And then there's just the value of FOMO just being devalued for myself as well, where I'm not really worried about FOMO anymore. I don't have the ability to go see movies once they come out. I don't have the ability to do a lot when it first come out anyway. So I've become accustomed to waiting, and I think a lot of that just contributes to my thought when a game drops and I have some interest in it. So I don't know. Yeah, that's I think a lot of people are going through that. And I think that's a good topic to kind of bring up every now and again, because the state of gaming is kind of trash right now. It's not like it's not good games. I think it's just a lot of oversaturation. There's a lot of games that are coming out that just our minds are so scattered that it's hard to focus up sometimes on what's truly good and what's not. So a lot of people don't even know about games sometimes. It'd be crazy to me how I be talking to my brothers and they don't even know a game came out, and they be anticipating it. And I'm like, how you didn't know this game came out? And I think it's just a lot of that, just people's minds are elsewhere. It is not in your hobbies right now. And I think the economy is to blame for that, really. It's survival mode out here for a little bit. But okay. Let's move into my next thing I wanted to talk about, because honestly, I don't know if there was anything that I really had interest in talking about, unless I'll bring it up to me if I forgot. But I did want to talk to y'all about the whole console space versus PC space, because I'm shifting again as usual. I'm always shifting, but I remember when we spoke last week and we talked about the PS5 Pro and how, like, for me, I'm giving it an arbitrary ceiling. I'm saying 4K 60 is where I value it the most. I don't really do the ray tracing a lot to the point where I'm feeling like, oh, that's something that's super, super needed. I just want a stable 4K 60 output and a pretty stable image. So as we grow closer and closer to that, Jalen, I know you got a PC. Don't use it. Josh, I know you have a PC. I know you use yours. Tell me about how your use cases and why you still hold on to consoles, if you still hold on to them. I don't know if you. I don't even know what consoles you own currently. I guess give people a refresher. What consoles you own early, you own today, and why you feel like they are still around. Let's start there.
Yeah. You can go ahead, Jayla.
I
Got
just be
a
brief. I
Nintendo
mean,
64 in its living room.
yeah, I got that.
Not the
I got the Super
64.
Nintendo,
You be
the
playing
PlayStation with the
GoldenEye.
multi-tap.
Yeah, you be playing GoldenEye with
Yeah,
that mud.
I got
You got
my,
a PS1
remember
with the TV.
Man.
with this, so you can, ain't a multi-tap where you can play with different people or 4 players?
Oh, you talking
Oh
about the
yeah,
mod?
the
Yeah.
more controllers. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but no, just back to the question. I mean, I got a PS5, a 360, or Death Box,
That
and
boy
a
said
Switch.
3 cents. You disrespectful. That boy
My
disrespect. He,
PlayStation, the
he
Switch,
passed
man.
up another generation. He said, "Skip that MR1." Went back to the when it was times was good. 360.
Good times, man. I was reflecting on the good times. I was looking out
All
the window as
right.
I was speaking.
Now, you better talk about that PS2
Reflecting,
then. Talk about that PS2.
man. But
Nah, I guess
yeah,
the PS4
so
was good times. So go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say that was straight. But and then I mean, I got a PC. In all honesty, I don't really care about playing games on my PC. My PC heavy. I mean, it's portable and stuff. It's a laptop, but I don't really care about doing that. The screen's smaller. I don't got the technology and stuff to like stream it onto my TV. Of course, I could always put like a HDMI cord and stuff in there, but I just never. It just seemed like a lot of work to do. The PC be trying to die. I gotta have a cord across the room. Like it just don't. The battery life not that great on it. So
Mm.
PlayStation, Xbox, all that type of stuff, I can just put it in real quick, put the game in. The simple, streamlined process. Don't got to reconfigure nothing, go into settings, any of those sorts of things. Same thing on my Steam Deck. For the most part, I don't have to change them. I changed a little bit of settings on Metaphor, but I don't really like to tamper with those things. So I just like the console give me a more optimized experience. And for what I'm looking for, I don't need the latest or the greatest. I just need an optimized experience. I mean, I'm playing Final Fantasy on performance mode, and that mode got 60 frames. I know y'all talked about the graphics with them and stuff, but I'm like, I mean, I see it a little bit, but it ain't that serious. So it's a
Got you.
streamlined process with the consoles. And then the community I'm involved myself with, they're on consoles. Like, not every game is cross platform. So make it a
Yeah.
little bit more simple when I do want to tap into like playing with my friends.
Okay. Well, good reasons to own for sure. What about you, Josh?
Uh, yeah, I got no consoles. I don't have a PlayStation. I don't have an Xbox, and I don't have a Nintendo Switch.
Oh wow, I thought you still had your
All them
Switch.
things got the same thing where they sitting on the shelf for 3 to 6 months, not being touched, and then got sold because I do 90% of my gaming on my desktop PC because it has the best like performance or most stable performance that of all of them. So if I buy Dragon's Dogma, it's even with the issues, I kind of can tweak it to I get to a point where I'm happy with just playing it on the PC or on the console. I have no real options to tweak it, and even if it's like, oh, I got a performance mode or I got a quality mode, both of those are gonna have pretty big drawbacks, where at least on like PC, I can go to like the Nexus and download like a DLSS mod and just throw it in the game and it'll just run better because I have the flexibility of overcoming the limitations that the consoles don't have. So that's one reason. So I do most of my games on PC. Two, sales or things like that are accessible. And then three, it's kind of I stream a lot of my games to different handhelds or stuff like that. So if I buy it on Steam, I know that I'm gonna have a pretty streamlined way to play the game. I can stream it through Moonlight, or I can stream it through Steam Link, and it's just gonna work. The controller is gonna work, no issues. With consoles, at least, like I want to play Stellar Blade. I also could stream it, but then I was having issues with like the streaming software is not as robust as like so as I would want,
Yep.
or I also have to have a PlayStation Plus subscription for certain things. Like, what game did I download? I think I downloaded one of the Dark Souls games that I had bought digitally. It was like, oh, I don't have my save because I need to subscribe to PlayStation Plus to download my save. Like, okay, I don't know if I want to do all that. I'm gonna just play Final Fantasy instead. So I started playing Final Fantasy, the second one, Rebirth. It's like, oh, import your save from Final Fantasy 7. It's like, oh, I can't do that either because I have to play for PlayStation Plus to download my save so I can
Oh
transfer it over to
man.
the new games. Like, no, I don't care. So yeah, it was a lot of hassle. So performance, and then all the extra barriers that you have to worry about with consoles that you just don't have to worry about with PC. That being said, I got rid of my Switch, got rid of my Xbox, got rid of my PlayStation. The only thing that I'm considering now is I do see value in having a cheap Series S, as just like a dedicated backwards compatibility for Xbox games and Game Pass game device, because I have a lot of digital Xbox games that I would still go back and play, or just having a device just for my Game Pass games. I can set it up on its own monitor. I kind of want to do, because not everything is available through xCloud for like streaming, and but you can stream everything from your Xbox if you have one at home. So that would be a way for me to play a lot of games that I don't want to, I don't want to download what's like Diablo 4, 100 gigabytes or something.
Oh
I want
yeah,
to put
yeah.
100 gigabytes of Diablo 4 on my PC, so I might as well put it on the Series S, download it. I can stream it every now and then and play it, but it's just its own dedicated device. So that's what
Right.
I'm thinking about. That being said, I don't think Series S's are cheap in Japan because you got to import them. So that I don't need it right now, but yeah, a dedicated Xbox, just like backwards compatibility system, is the only other thing that I'm kind of considering.
Yeah.
So gonna
Um
be you on that box.
yeah. And so I guess where I was going was where Josh is, and where I'm now going is revolting, or like re I'm changing course a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of bit. And it's simply because, yeah, I love the option of the PC. I love the fact that it gives me a lot more one bang for my buck, but it also just gives me this level of backwards compatibility and security I never felt with any of the other consoles. It just feels like the proper evolution of any console gamer, PC wise. It's just that they're not. Um, I think the same problem I had with PC before is still lingering. Um, there's a lot of tinkering that I do, and my mind is built in a way where I have to have optimal performance, or I can't sit down and just enjoy my game. And I can't say that I can't fault the PC for allowing me options. I only can fault myself for constantly playing around with them and like not just sitting there enjoying the game. The only game that I ever not touched was Hellblade, and that's because I was like, this looks perfect right now. I don't need to touch nothing. I never touched nothing, and I feel like I don't that's not enough justification for me to keep this thing updated to the latest and greatest. I honestly don't need the latest and greatest, but it's just what I have in it now is pretty cutting edge, and I see zero to little value in it or difference in what I play regularly versus what this thing is capable of. And that's simply due to the type of games I play. I'm not pushing like super strong games most of the time. Any of the games that I'm really interested in that may have these graphical leaps, they technically coming from uh, the other publishers like Xbox or Microsoft. I mean Xbox or Microsoft or Sony. And then the games that are third party, maybe like Monster Hunter. That's another one of those games that I'm really interested in, but I'm probably not going to buy it again. Simply due to the fact that I just don't care to buy it. And it falls in that category again. It's like, it looks like it's worthy, acts like it's worthy, it should be worthy, yet I feel like it's not. So, I'm not going to be playing those games anytime soon, and the difference in like optimization ops and being able to like make games run well on certain things, it just doesn't feel like I'm getting the value out of this today. I feel like I'm waiting for yesteryear to get the value out of the PC, and I think that's shifting more to my Steam Deck and everything else. Like yesteryear's games runs amazing on the Steam Deck. It's an optimized situation. It's great. It looks good. I'm having a blast. But the games that I'm playing today, the strong games, the hard games, the ones that might kick the system, I'm either skipping or I'm playing the ones that don't really need that much power. So, what is the real value of me owning the latest and greatest of a graphics card? So I'm questioning it simply because of my mindset and how I'm changing it. I feel like when the Steam Deck 2 comes out, I'm going to have another generation to play along with my backlog that I'm playing and buying for yesteryear anyway. Like I'm buying games for $10, $20, $11 because I'm buying games to build a backlog and not buying games to play the games for today. So as I use my Steam and Deck and I use my consoles and things that everything is starting to become far in between of me actually purchasing anything that's like latest and greatest, it tells me my optimal experience is to hold on to these devices, keep my Steam Deck, probably let go of my Legion Go, keep my PC, and buy anything that can ever entice me to buy a game for a price again on my consoles, and just let my Steam Deck and my PC be my backlog generator. And that works out for me because I'm totally fine buying a game twice if I found that game worthy. And that might sound crazy, but buying a game for $60 and then buying it again for 20 or 10 is super easy for me, especially when I know it comes to the PC and it's going to be the complete edition. I may not have my saves. Obviously, that's a big component of a lot of that stuff. But honestly, when I start to play those games on Steam again, I'm not looking to continue my experience. I'm looking to start over, or I'm looking to enjoy it in a different way. So I'm flip-flopping. I'm not flip-flopping that much. I just know that I guess I'm just afforded the ability to do that because there's like I've accumulated so much junk that I can determine now what makes the most sense for my setup. And some people just gotta work with what they got, and I think that is not my case. I think my case is simply determining now what's best for me. And I do think having that separation will allow me to finish games faster, at least of games that I'm actually truly interested in. But the Steam Deck is still going to be my it's going to be utilized as that system that continues to hold my backlog. there's really no other way to say it. I really don't feel like building out a library on these consoles anymore. Only one I may do is Xbox, and that's very rare. I may. I don't even know if I want to. But the one thing that I do know is that owning the Steam Deck will allow me to buy Riders Republic $15. I bought it for $60, and I actually may enjoy it with the complete stuff, with everything in it, versus what I got at the day one. So that Steam Deck is not for FOMO purposes. It is literally for all the stuff that I'm going to try to play on it that could push the envelope, maybe of the Steam Deck at the time later down, like I said, yesteryear, versus what I'm going to be playing today, like a GTA 6. So that would be consoles. So yeah. Any thoughts? I know I've been talking a lot. But any thoughts on that?
No, I was gonna just say that people got different needs or different values, and so we all gonna end up in a different place. But I think we're just leaning to having our dedicated devices to do their job. Because I kind of feel like I used to want one device that can do everything, but now I do see value in just having like, this is my backwards compatibility, this is my streaming device, this is this and that. That way I don't have to spend a lot of time just like reconfiguring settings or just even thinking about how the setup works. Usually just turn it on and let it do its thing. You know, that being said, for me, I've also noticed for PC stuff that I would rather that I also pay a lot more attention to the performance. And like if it's at 55, then I gotta do everything I can to get it to 60, but it's at 60, but it looks bad with FSR2 and I gotta tweak it and blah blah blah. So that ends up happening with PC. But now when I switch to console, I'm mad that well, it's like this is supposedly the best place to play the game, but it's not in a lot of cases. So that's why I'm sticking with PC. Even though it has the hassle, it feels worth it for me at least. I'm just waiting on Jalen to start playing some PC stuff. Oh, my bad.
No, I was just going to ask you about NVIDIA's upcoming 5090 and all that good jazz. Like, are you do you feel like they're pushing the wrong things, or do you feel like their technology today, or the technology they're coming out with, makes sense? Because I just feel like, and this is another contributor to my not pushing the next new gen and the next age, is that it only becomes valuable when the consoles get it. So what do you feel about right now about the 5090 and like the 4090 and the 4080 and their, ray tracing?
Honestly, nothing at all because I'm super happy with my 3080 and like it does ray tracing. It can't do like the super max ray tracing, but even then it's not like it will look better, but it's not worth it because of all of the other things that have to come with it. Like I was looking at Digital Foundry when they were talking about Star Wars, and Star Wars has really good ray tracing. It has like new ray tracing features that's like debuting with this game, but you do need the newest graphics card to use those features, and still you're gonna have to crank up the upscaling to like a super high amount that is also introducing artifacts and a bunch of other stuff. So it's diminishing returns at that point.
Right.
So ray tracing is cool, but I think right now it only makes sense for certain aspects of the game. Like you want to do ray trace global illumination, cool. You want to do ray trace shadows, cool. Or you want to do ray trace reflections. But those games that want to do all of those plus plus new ray tracing features, it for me it doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Because it's not there yet unless you got like you said a 50 series card. But for me, I don't need that. Like I'll turn on Cyberpunk, I'll turn on my ray trace reflections. It looks amazing, and that's it. And it runs at 60, and that's kind of all I need.
Okay. Were we wrong about the PlayStation Portal? Do
What? Which one is the portal?
the
My
one
my
that
bad.
only does the one that only streams remote play and just it's a controller with a tablet screen on it. I say that.
I'll let you finish your thought. Yeah.
I say that because that is the only device I've seen that has consistently showcased good performance with remote play, and I don't know why. Like, you can do it with your phone. Yes, you can do it with Chiaki. This is the only place I've seen it where it had like a really, really good showing of remote play. And I'm not sure. I'm not talking latency. I know latency is decent. I guess I'm just talking more so just consistent remote play accessibility and working well. I have no idea why, but a lot of people are just super happy about their PlayStation portals, and I guess having a dedicated device to provide you away from console experience like a Steam Deck has value. I don't know if it's worth $200. So that's where I ask.
Ain't it more than that? Ain't like close to 300?
No, it's $199. Yeah, PlayStation Portal. Pretty sure is $199. Yeah, $200.
Okay. Uh, well, I guess I'm curious about what you mean as far as good performance, because for me, Chiaki works well. Like I play all of Final Fantasy, not all of it, but half of Final Fantasy 7 I played on Chiaki, and
Mm-hmm.
I played some of Stellar Blade on there as well. The only thing that I wouldn't do on Chiaki is like some boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as the experience, I would say is worth it for free. You know, for what I'm getting for free is definitely
Worth it.
my go-to device
Mm-hmm.
versus $200 to get slightly better performance is the way
Mm-hmm.
that I would view it. And so I would say, so no, I don't feel bad about missing out on that device.
I wouldn't say missing out. I think we was harsh on the reasoning of it be existing. I think I was at least. I was saying that it didn't need to exist because there's plenty of other ways to do it. But I feel like having only reason the justification for this is if there is a limitation on the free experience versus the premium experience. And that is what I'm valuing. I'm valuing the
Okay.
premium
So
experience over the free experience.
so what is the premium experience offering uh that you can't get with the free one? Is it like the away from home
You
play?
can do that with free. You can do that with the free one too. It just has to take a little more
Okay.
setup. But yes, the away from home is probably easily the most valuable portion of it. Because it's not that much additional setup, and two, you're utilizing a different type of setup compared to what Chiaki is doing. It like they creating a dedicated port that they tap into at your home software, at your home network that allows them to signal out that system out that signal out versus whatever place you're doing it. It has to be working better because it's better latency and there is better performance in regards to the image. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. I just know that the people that are buying these things are saying that they are valuable, and the people that are saying that they're valuable are people that I tend to trust in regards to their opinion. So I'm just trying to figure out. Um, I just try posing that question as in, um, the dedicated streaming device, does that have value, especially if it provides a better experience? Because if I
So
guess I can't justify if it's free and free. If one's free and one's not, and then there's the justification that this has a tablet and a controller dedicated to it. That's not valuable to me. I think the value I'm adding is just the ability to kind of do these things seamlessly without issue.
yeah, I would say it's definitely value to have the dedicated streaming device, but I don't think it's the PlayStation Portal. I think for a certain group of people who have several different devices, so I got 8 different gaming devices, and now the PlayStation Portal is joining the group, and it's going to serve its own niche, and I definitely see it serving as that for that person.
Mm-hmm.
But for somebody, let's say you're a 15-year-old, and you want a Christmas gift, I would never recommend the PlayStation Portal as the Christmas gift for that 15-year-old because of the lack of things that it can't do. Like, yes, it can stream PlayStation very well, but it can't stream Steam. It can't stream Xbox. It can't stream these other stuff. So that would be a negative for me, that it's a streaming device, but it can't stream everything. It only can stream one thing. And then two, like it, I don't know if they changed it in the firmware, but when it came out, you can't use Bluetooth with the device. Headphones. You got to
Nope.
use the PlayStation headphones, which are another $100 or more that adds to the price tag. And so, like, yeah, I would never recommend this to like as your first or like your main gaming device to somebody. There's so many other options that are offer so much more for $200. Even if you got like a $200 Android device, you're getting a full suite of gaming features like emulation and apps and also streaming for the same price. So that I still think the PlayStation Portal is a wasted product. That being said, it probably is still a premium um hardware. Like the hardware I think is probably pretty good and it does its job well. But for the 1% of people that it serves,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably good. Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, it makes sense. I guess I was just wondering, like, um, I guess I do value that premium experience a little bit more than I thought. I don't think that this would be something that I would necessarily need if I'm going to be playing a PlayStation. I would want it right in front of me anyway, and probably getting the full experience due to the fact that the games I'm going to be playing on it probably wouldn't be small games, probably wouldn't be games that weren't flagships. So, um, it doesn't still doesn't fit my niche, but I guess people that have this as their dedicated device in the home for gaming, I could see the benefit of having a premium experience away from the console. So I ain't gonna hate on it as much as I used to, but I still don't think it's worth $200. Period. Maybe 100, maybe, but not two. But okay. I mean, sorry, I did not talk about anything that we were supposed to talk about, but we did talk through a lot of different topics today. Just some things that I kind of had on my mind, just based around what was um, kind of happening out there. How I've been feeling about the gaming industry and gaming as a whole. But is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about or add to today's conversation?
Uh, well, I was gonna say check on your Pokemon fan friends. Make sure they all right.
Oh
Because that
man,
community is in shambles. And then
talk to me. What is the biggest? What's the biggest one? Isn't the one I was talking about with them having um
yeah, people
relations
writing
with
weird stuff
humans?
about human Pokemon relationships. That's out of pocket and shouldn't be there. Just because I
Mm-hmm.
think that not even Pokemon being wholesome or anything like that, but Pokemon has entered a space where it's like we think of them as like pets and friends. And so when we see a game like Power World, it's like surprising because it's like, oh well, I thought of this Pikachu looking thing as my pet, or my part of my family that I love like a pet, and now I'm shooting it with an AK-47. So that's why Power World was kind of you know not took off, but it was surprising when it first showed up. So yeah, I don't think of Pokemon as like yokai. They're, like I said, they're cats and dogs to me. Uh, that being said, the other leaks, like a whole bunch of stuff. I guess somebody got access to a Game Freak's employees like login, and they literally
Mm-hmm.
downloaded everything that they could. And so they're going back generations. There's art, there's emails, there's like scripts, there's demos for certain old games.
Oh
And
boy.
then they were also saying that there's also like a demo or a playable version of a unreleased Pokemon game. So it's a really bad leak for Game Freak. And that's unfortunate because I know that, I mean, people already like to do Pokemon ROM hacks and stuff, but they're gonna put out some work with like actual Pokemon code being accessible.
Oh man. Yeah. That is unfortunate. Like I said, I only got the headlines of certain things. I didn't really read into everything that occurred. But it's definitely impactful if you can, like, when that stuff happens. It's just, unfortunate for a lot of people because it's like you kind of get this un. You're not supposed to see this stuff anyway, and
Hmm.
so you're getting a little bit of that access that probably shouldn't have been there, and it's providing them more perspective on what the developers didn't intend for you to see. And it's like, okay, but this didn't hit the code, so why are we talking about it anyway? So it's just unnecessary highlighting of things that probably would never should have seen the light of day. But now that it has, it's a little creepy. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I don't even know if this is like was chopping block stuff or if this is simply just someone creating the thoughts
Yeah, so
around the lore. You know.
I don't know um, the whole ins and out of the writing stuff, but for Pokemon, they have like the Pokédex, and it's like some stories about the Pokemon. This Pikachu is a mouse type Pokemon, and it has electric powers, whatever it says. But then some of them have lore, like this one. It lived in the mountain for 1,000 years, sleeping, and then somebody came and woke it up, and it destroyed the town. It's like, okay, that's like a lore thing for like a legendary Pokemon. Some of them are more weird, like the ghost type Pokemon. Like this Pokemon was a Pokemon that died, and then it saw the state of the world, and then it came back to life to like change it. Or it'll be something weird like that. Where it's like, well, this is now super magical and like something that's not like just is more than just like the fantasy of like the Pokemon world. Now it's going into like a magical realm. But I guess at some point in the lore, they start writing some lore that's more inspired by like storybooks that we have in like the real world, where it's like, oh, Little Red Riding Hood, oh no, Hansel and Gretel, like a witch kidnapped them and tried to cook them so she can eat them. Oh no, try to fatten them up so she can eat them. And those like folklore stories are always like weird and like have bad endings, or they're trying to teach you some weird moral by telling you these like terrible stories. So somebody had that similar writing style. They wrote a bunch of stuff about Pokemon that all had weird or like disgusting events to teach some sort of moral, maybe. I don't know if it was a fetish thing, but like it was one where like a woman used to kill Pokemon, and then one of those Pokemon kidnapped her and then got her pregnant, and she had the baby. and then somebody killed the baby, and that was the moral of the story. And so it's like, yeah, this is supposed to be something weird to teach you some sort of moral, but I think in the context of Pokemon is what makes it extra weird, where I don't think the moral lands for me.
Man, yeah. That's pretty interesting. Honestly, it seems as if those it doesn't seem like this was something that obviously would ever make the light of day. So I'm glad on that. I just feel like now we have to kind of deal with the. I don't think it should. I don't think it should go further than what the internet makes it out to be. But I just feel like it's just tainted a little bit of how people will view Pokemon, and especially in the gaming community, because most people that aren't following this stuff, they don't really understand it, don't really care. They just still think Pokemon is the greatest. Kids ain't gonna be looking on the internet seeing this stuff anyway. It's just more so the people that probably cherished it when they were growing up, and they might have a diminished look on certain things and this lore, and it makes sense why I never met the other day. Like, it never got out because this is weird.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things, man. You can always think uh, everybody had the greatest intentions with a character that you beloved, but sometimes they just do stupid stuff. So,
Yeah. Now
i.e.,
it makes sense
Joker
why
too.
Ash ain't never have a stepdad, because Mr. Mime was at home.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Well, anything else that we wanted to talk about?
No, I think we had a good pod, a lot of discussions, and it's a Xbox showcase later this week, so we'll probably have a lot more gaming news for next week. But yeah, it's time for us to go play Metaphor, and actually have more impressions next week.
Yeah, yeah, that's the hope. Well, all right, guys. Thank you. If you got to this point, you're the real OG. I want to thank you as always. You can always check us out wherever you get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify being the biggest. You can also check us out on YouTube at BCD Universe. Again, that is BCD Universe. If you want to check out the pod on there, we also publish on YouTube. So, appreciate y'all as always. Thank you again. And we will be talking to y'all next week. Hopefully, Xbox partners show something magnificent and not just launching day one on Game Pass. I guess that's always nice too, but hopefully we see something new. But thanks again, and we will talk to y'all next week. Peace.